Hey ladies, it's time to talk about negative self-belief. What is negative self-belief? Well, it's self-explanatory. It's the things that we believe about ourselves that we just assume to be true. Because what are beliefs? Beliefs are things that we simply do not question. And because we don't question the beliefs, we operate on a paradigm. All the moves that we make are within that confinement of what we believe about the world and what we believe about ourselves. Now, before I get into it, I need to tell you guys about my experience with negative self-belief. When I was in high school, I didn't think I was particularly smart. I didn't think that I had what it took to be successful academically, and so I didn't bother when it was time to take the SATs or the ACTs. I thought that I wasn't intelligent enough. So because I thought that I wasn't intelligent enough, I just didn't bother taking it. So what was the problem with that? That belief about myself and my intelligence predicated all the decisions that I made thereafter. I didn't apply to top schools. I wasn't college bound. I didn't prep for the SAT because I didn't want a confirmation of what I believed about myself. It wasn't until later that I challenged those beliefs because through experience, through cultivating who I was, through cultivating my own intelligence and to really dive into learning and exploring the world and asking questions, I just simply started to believe differently over time. And as a result, I did end up graduating from a top school cum laude. You could have never told the 17-year-old me that I would graduate from a top school with honors because I simply, at the time, didn't believe it about myself. But here's the thing. If you challenge those beliefs, if you challenge those negative self-beliefs and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What do I gain from feeling this way? Then things can start to change. But here's what happens when you stay mired in negative self-belief. Negative beliefs lead to negative expectations. Negative expectations result in negative behaviors. Negative behaviors result in negative outcomes. Do you see how that works? If I believe something about myself that is negative, then I am going to expect a negative thing. And because I expect a negative thing, my behaviors are going to reflect that. And so everything will lead to the outcome that I expect. However, changing your perspective, changing and shifting those negative beliefs can change everything. But before we get to how positive beliefs change everything, I want you to take a moment and think about the negative beliefs that you think about yourself, whatever they are, especially when it's related to business and your career, starting your own business, whatever it is. And then you have to ask yourself, why do I think those things? Why do I believe those things? And then ask yourself, when did I start believing this? What made me start to believe that? Then you need to ask yourself, is it really true? Are these beliefs that I have about myself, are they true? And then you have to ask yourself, what do I gain by continuing to have these negative self-beliefs. And let's be honest, when you talk about what you gain by holding on and clinging on to negative beliefs, that's uncomfortable. Because when you believe that you can't get to a certain point, when you believe that what you dream about or what you see other people doing, that you can't achieve it, then you're going to stay there. If you believe that there's absolutely nothing you can do, then guess what? You can wash your hands of everything. You don't even have to try. And so some people find comfort in thinking that, well, if this is true about me and I can never get this thing, then why bother trying? And the effort is that, hey, sometimes you're going to have to take risks. And for some people, their beliefs are so strong and their fear of failure is so strong that they don't even try. So you have to ask yourself honestly, am I gaining something by clinging to this belief because I'm afraid of failure? And then finally ask yourself, what would you like to believe? What would you like to believe about yourself? What would you like to believe about your potential and about what you can do and about how you can impact the world? What would you like for that to look like? And so the next time you have a negative self-belief, I want you to ask yourselves these questions, and then I want you to acknowledge that you're having these doubts, that you're having these negative self-perceptions, and have some compassion for yourself, have some empathy, give yourself a hug, and say, I know where this came from, but this is not necessarily true. This is what I believed before, but this is what I'm going to believe moving forward. And every time you do that, you change the way your brain operates. You change the way your brain thinks about things. It expands and it explores ways to make this new information true for you. So what happens when we start having positive self-beliefs? Well, it's the same thing. When you have a positive self-belief, you have positive expectations. And your expectations are going to lead to positive behaviors. And those positive behaviors are going to lead to positive outcomes. It really is just that simple. It's not about magic. It's not about fairy dust. It's not about law of attraction. It's about how the human brain operates. Humans are incredibly adaptable. And so if you give them a tiny square to operate in, they will. But if you widen that square and you make that space infinite, they will grow into that space. So what I'm telling you is this, that the human brain is malleable. And what you think today about yourself before you saw this video, there is actually an active change happening if you are open to what I'm saying to you right now. The brain is a wonderful thing. You can retrain it and you can rewire your faulty thinking about what it is that you can achieve, about what it is that you can achieve. This will affect every aspect of your life. This will affect how you dress, how you interact with people, how you hold your head, your posture, and how you believe. Well, then that energy will go to other people and they will pick up that energy about you too. So it becomes, instead of a negative feedback loop, it becomes positive. It really is that simple. So I want you to do a quick activity on these self-limiting beliefs that you may have about yourself, and I want you to fill that out. The sheet is down below, and then I want you to start challenging those beliefs and see if we can start reframing them to a more positive belief.